the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God.
We are students at Broadmoor High School and we're doing a project on the problems of BHS. And the first things we're going to do is talk to as many teachers as we can and get interviews from them and talk to students as well.
And see what kind of opinions we can get on certain issues that go on in the school.
We're going to interview Mr. Sampson to see what he thinks. Which grade do you believe is doing the worst in academics?
Unfortunately, our freshmen. The transition from middle school to high school is wearing on them heavily right now.
Do you believe the students are really applying themselves?
In some cases, I believe students have a certain belief that they are, but the nuts and the bolts, they're not really doing all the things they can do. There are some things that we're going to try and do this upcoming year before the end to try and facilitate some of that action.
Do athletes get defended more than, say, normal students?
No, athletes are on the same level playing field as anyone else. We tell them all the time that they're students first and they're athletes second.
Okay, so Mr. Sampson's point of view on which grades are doing the worst, like 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, all that. When he said freshmen, I really understood, seeing as just they act very, I don't know, like they don't care. I guess it's just the transition from middle school to high school, just like he said. It's just, I don't know, a little crazy for them. Maybe it's just a change. People don't like change, I guess.
It's just that, you know, it's high school. They feel like now they're in upper grade, they're adults. In their mind, they are adults. So they're going to do whatever they feel. And the fact that we weren't that bad in 9th grade year, but we was bad, but not as bad as them. Like, they came in with just off the bat starting off wrong. And that's not a good thing to do in high school. Like, you want to start off right so you can finish right.
Just finished the interview with Mr. Sampson. Heading to Mr. Darden's.
I wish I found some better sounds no one's ever heard. I wish I had a better voice.
Do you think the behavioral issues are learned at home or at school?
You know, a lot of times I would say it's a cultural thing, but you know, I guess I really hadn't considered whether or not that's a school culture thing or a home culture thing, and I'll bet it's a little bit of both. I think that certain behaviors are probably picked up at school that maybe aren't talked against at home. You know, if your mom never said don't do that, or you know, you were never told that these behaviors are acceptable, these behaviors aren't. Then maybe things you're learning at school you just keep repeating again and again, and they're never modified.
Do you believe athletes get defended more than normal students in the school?
Yes, absolutely. I think that we have a culture where athletes are kind of, in a lot of ways, I've seen them be above the law. For the majority of our athletes, they don't see punishment for misbehavior. They don't see, you know, if I've done this wrong, I need to have this punishment regardless. We have an athletic culture where we want to win, I think is our priority in athletics. So if an athlete gets in trouble, we still want to win, well, we'll play him in the game, or we'll, you know, let him come to practice, whatever it is, and then we try and find some other, like I said earlier, some other slap on the wrist thing to do, when in reality what that athlete needs is sit out of a game, watch your team lose, be told it's your fault. I think those types of things are what produce change in athletes. What an athlete wants to win. An athlete wants to be on the team, to be on the field, to be competing. So you take that away, you've taken something away that's got weight and meaning to it. And you know, I've done that to my athletes, and I think it's really effective. It's caused a lot of behavior change that's very positive. And again, I think it's probably me focusing on a few bad apples, a few students that are problems that I see in certain programs. So I can't say, like, for certain the rest of the programs have problems, you know, or the majority of that program has problems. I just see a bunch of bad apples in some programs.
Do you believe that we have less behavioral issues than we did last year?
Absolutely. I mean, just look at the number of fights; it's gone significantly down. The number of referrals, I think, has gone down, and I do think a lot of that is leadership. I think Mr. Boatner does a great job of staying on top of behavior problems, better than we've experienced in the past.
Hey, Coach Davis, can we talk to you right quick, please?
Do you believe that the teachers provide a good example for the students in Baltimore High School?
Of course. You know, we go through extensive training. We to be able to learn how to deal with students, become role models, learn what to do and what not to do. So every day is always a learning process when it comes down to interacting and dealing with our students.
Do you believe the students are really applying themselves?
I think that students are applying themselves. You know, when you talk about applying yourself, the students applying themselves, you have to kind of take in the fact of the students has had a very difficult school year so far, dealing with the flood, dealing with living in poverty, environmental issues. So I believe our students are doing pretty well dealing with outside factors when it comes down to academic studies and doing well in school.
Chris, may we interview you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Do you have any behavior problems at Broadmoor? Any this year?
Myself?
Yeah.
Only a little. It's seeming like lately it's become an issue more with like tardies and getting to school, you know, since having a flood and everyone's having issues getting to school. And after so many tardies, they start building up, and that's really the only thing that's really getting a lot of people in trouble.
Do you have any academic problems?
No, I mean, this school, that's the one thing I like about the school setup is if you really just do the work, then there's no way you can possibly fail, besides the fact that it does take a little bit away from it that you could do 5 papers and get 100 on each of them and then do one test and fail it, and then you'd be failing a class, which does suck, but if you study and keep your grades on track, it's not that hard to pass, and that's what I really like about the school.
Has it, well, we know since the flood and all that, but, do you like the principal? Like, you like the staff? It's a very good environment for you?
Most of them seem to do, like Mr. Boatner, he really is a good role model. He does really love his job and love what he does. He always comes out and supports all of us at our track meets and our football games, and he's always there for us when when he knows that we have family issues. And so I think the staff does a really good job of being there for the kids who don't have people to be there for.